as we get to what is quickly becoming a fan favorite segment. What part of Tyler Ennis's house are we in this week? Similar to last week. How's it going, Tyler?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Good. Are you a Halloween guy?
Historically, I have been, but today I don't think we'll be doing too much. But I like the outfits.
Thanks. I'm a cat.
Looks good.
We wanted to know if you were a Halloween guy, so we scoured the internet trying to find pictures of you at like team Halloween parties. We could only find one, and we aren't even quite sure if it was you. AB, do we have the picture?
I'm bringing it in. Give me a second.
Okay, bring it in. Give me a sec. But do you have a top Halloween costume from your days of going to team parties in the NHL?
I remember one year we went to Atlanta. We played in Atlanta, and we were there the day before. So I went and got a haircut, and it was a really bad haircut. And I went into the rink the next day, and Thomas Vanek said that I looked like Ellen DeGeneres. And so later on, for the Halloween party, I dressed up as Ellen DeGeneres, and it was surprising how much I did look like her. So I didn't even need to dress up too much, and I looked exactly like her. So that was probably my favorite one, but I'm interested to see which picture you guys pull up here.
We don't even know if it's 100% you, but are you the ghost?
That is me. Yes, that is me under there. Yeah. So that was in Ottawa, and I think this was my last season, and I had been to so many Halloween parties and done so many things for Halloween, and I was like, I'm just gonna get a bed sheet, cut a couple holes in it, and be a ghost. And honestly, we didn't even coordinate it. I didn't even know those guys were going as Ghostbusters, so it worked out super well.
That's actually the fact you didn't coordinate that and just showed up is excellent. All right, let's get into the hockey talk here. The Oilers begin life without Connor McDavid for the next couple of weeks here, and this is one of those things where I can't tell if I'm just being too hard on them. But when he went down against Columbus, like I've brought up a couple of times this week, there was a game a few years ago against Pittsburgh where he went down, and like the next 20 minutes after he went down, the team was just like boom. More in the game than they were. They dominated the rest of the night. I didn't like their response against Columbus. I guess my question to you is, how tough is it to be on a bench when your star player goes down the tunnel, leaves the game like that? And should I cut them more slack, or were you also disappointed with kind of the flat effort they had against Columbus?
Well, I think when Connor goes down, it's scary because you definitely hope it's not too bad because he's the best player in the world. But the good news is you probably got the second best player in the world. So I know when I got traded to the Oilers that season, I believe Leon was the MVP, and he had gone a long stretch, or at least a stretch without Connor, because I think he was injured, and Leon stepped up and played amazing, and like I said, he was the MVP of the year. So I think it's always nerve-wracking when someone gets hurt, especially when it's Connor. But I think it's nice to know that you got Leon back there that can, step up and be that MVP guy.
Yeah, and again, we talked about that off the jump today on the show, just the idea that, there are some people in the hockey world who are like, the Oilers are cooked, one-man team. And it's like, you look at this roster, and again, there are guys here who have scored 35-plus goals. You have Leon Draisaitl, as you mentioned, Hart Trophy winner. Who else are you kind of looking to on this roster as someone who needs to step up now in the absence of McDavid, outside of Draisaitl, obviously?
I think it's going to have to be it's going to have to come from a lot of different places. I don't know if there's one guy other than Leon that can elevate to that extent where they can win games themselves, where Leon can. So I think it's going to have to take goaltending. I think that's going to be key. Team defense, and then chip in from everywhere. I think Nuge is going to have that second line center role, and if Nuge can go off, that would be huge. I think he's an unbelievable player, and I think that's a good spot for him. So I think it's going to be a good moment for the team to overcome this adversity while Connor's gone. And if they string some wins together and just add Connor back, it could be a point in the season where this is where they take off.
Yeah, I think it could really go either way. But you just said there, like, Nuge is playing at center tonight. What is it about his game that allows him to be so successful on the wing and then also move into the middle?
Well, I just think he's good at everything. So if he's on the wing with Connor or Leon, he wins all of his puck battles. He's so strong on his stick. He's creative. He's a first overall pick, so he's got offense. He's got talent. He's super cerebral out there, so he knows how to play with those guys. And then as a centerman, he's good at faceoffs. He kills penalties, so he's responsible. He really understands the game, so he's like the perfect player for any coach or any line mate, because you know exactly what you're getting with Nuge. And then also when you give it to him, he's got a good chance to put it in. So I think Nuge is his fault, like, flies under the radar because of Connor and Leon, but he's an amazing part of that team, and it's awesome that there's a good possibility that he spends his entire career in Edmonton.
I've got a question about Nuge follow-up, just because you played with him. What is Nuge like off the ice?
He's the best. He's a great guy. He's funny. He's so easy to get along with. He's got a great sense of humor. He's relaxed. Loves to play golf and just be one of the guys. He's a great teammate and he's a good friend.
Last area I wanted to hit on with you was, again, just sort of these things that I can never tell if we make too big of a deal of. But the Oilers have had a few nights tonight where their goaltending hasn't, or a few nights this season where their goaltending hasn't come through for them. And I've been a Stuart Skinner apologist for years. Liam, you've been in the same boat as me. We generally think he is underappreciated by this fan base, but the year hasn't been going their way. When you're on the bench and maybe one goes in on your goalie that you're like, damn, maybe should have had that one. Does it actually have an impact? Does it actually take to use the cliche, wind out of your sails? Or is that something we just sort of get too fixated on the outside?
I don't think it affects the play of the guys, but it can be deflating, like you said. Like if you're concerned or worried that a weak one could go in or does go in, it's deflating. But at the end of the day, every time that individual steps on the ice, a defenseman or a forward, you have so much required of you individually and for the group that you can't think about that. But it can be deflating for the team and for anyone watching at home, of course. But the one thing that I'm confident with Stu is that he's so dedicated to getting better, and he really wants to be great, and he's always working on his game. And whether it's working on his positional play in practice or off the ice looking at video, he's super dedicated to getting better. So I'm confident that he'll overcome this slump to start the year.
I mean, every year he kind of has. It's been a slow start, then it's been a middle stretch where he's red hot. Lied about it being my last one. Tonight's the NHL debut for Noah Philp. Curious, what do you remember about your NHL debut?
My debut was cool. I remember, so I was playing in the minors. I was playing in Portland, Maine, and I got the call, like, I was at Subway getting a sub because I think we had a game that night in Portland too. So I was doing my pregame routine of getting an Italian BMT with mustard and ranch on it, and then got the call that I was going to go up and play my first game. And it was pretty surreal because at that point I was a first round pick, but I had just thought in my head, like, I'm going to spend the whole year in the minors, and I was good with it. So it was a bit of a surprise, even though in hindsight, looking back, it probably shouldn't have been. So I was surprised and excited, and we were playing in Philadelphia. So it was kind of difficult to get a flight. Like, they booked it and stuff, but one that got in time. So I was a little bit late. I was in a cab after we landed in the airport and driving to the rink, and the cab drivers asked me where to go. And I'm like, I don't know, go to the rink. Like, I don't know where to go. So the cab driver's like driving around the rink, and I'm like, "Okay, just let me off here." And I'm like walking with my bag and my sticks, and finally find the loading dock. And I'm walking through like Philadelphia's sewer ball game where they're playing soccer, and I look like I'm 12 at this point. I'm seeing like Chris Pronger and Daniel Briere and these guys that I idolize, and they're kind of looking at me like, "Who's this little kid?" And I get dressed quickly, go out for warm-ups, and luckily I played well and I scored in my first game in Philadelphia. And it was kind of like I was kind of just it was foggy the whole time because I was so excited and adrenaline and nervous. But it was a great night, and got sent down the next day, and I felt like I was on cloud nine for the rest of the season.
I was gonna say, like, I'm looking at your game log from that year. You play your first game November 14th. They set you score. They send you down and don't call you back up again until March 27th. That's insane.
What I was so happy with it though. It didn't bother me one bit. I was I loved being in Portland. I really liked my coach. I liked the guys. It felt like I was playing junior, but we were getting paid. Um, and I was totally down with the development process. I had no urgency to be up in the NHL because I didn't feel like I was quite ready yet. Um, but when they sent me down, it didn't bother me at all. So it was a great first game, great experience, and it was a fun, rookie year as a pro. And I still look back on those days as, the most fun I had probably.
Portland's supposed to be a great city too.
It's amazing. It's like, I mean, it's on the ocean. I lived on the ocean, so we lived in a place called Old Orchard Beach, and we had like 10 guys on the team living in this apartment complex on the beach. So it felt like I was playing junior, living with my buddies, living on the beach. Now it was wintertime, so it was cold, but I had never really been around the ocean up until that point in my life. So life was good. I was so happy, and yeah, I was just kind of rolling with everything and having a good time out in Portland.
Next season, you stuck with the Sabres, popped 20 goals. There you go.
Do you want to ask? Tyler Myers just played his 1000th game in
Oh,
his
yeah.
career.
You were in
guys obviously played together in Buffalo, drafted the same year. Like, what was he like as a teammate? And do you have any fun stories?
and
about
you were in Van for the
you were
party.
there too? Oh, okay.
Yeah, we went up there. I mean, he's my next door neighbor, so obviously he's not living here right now. He's down in Vancouver, but we're really close. One of my best friends. We lived together when we were playing together in Buffalo, drafted in the first round together. So we kind of, grew up, did everything. Just a great human being, great family, amazing player. I think people don't realize sometimes that when he came in, he was the rookie of the year, asked to do a lot, was, one of the best defensemen in the league at that time. And then has developed into just a super reliable, 4 or 5 guy, 3, 2, depends who you play him with. I mean, he plays with Hughes sometimes, and then he plays with Susie sometimes. So super reliable defenseman, veteran, great teammate. And yeah, just so happy for him. It's so hard to reach that milestone, as everybody knows, but especially for a guy that big, it's tough on the body. He's had a lot of small injuries, big injuries to overcome, and I think it's just a testament to how hard he works and how flexible he can be as a defenseman throughout his career.
He must hit it a mile, eh?
He must hit it a mile.
Yeah.
Golfing?
Like, oh yeah, he does. He pounds it. And the crazy thing about him is he didn't start golfing until like 3-4 years ago. And he's like really good. He's naturally gifted. I mean, his brother plays in the NBA. Like, he's just a natural athlete. Like, when
His brother plays in the NBA?
yeah, he's got it's
Oh.
like a half brother or step brother. So it's his mom remarried and had a kid that went and was first round pick to the Knicks, and he's now on the Dallas Mavericks. So his name's Quentin Grimes, and
Cool.
Yeah, just good genetics, So Mizey, you watch him run, and I always think that if he ever devoted himself to any sport, he was going to be unbelievable at it. 6'8", just
Yeah.
sick. So happy for the guy.
Guys that tall though probably looks ridiculous holding a putter, right? Like when he's got probably like a 90-degree angle hitting his putts.
He's surprisingly good, and it looks surprisingly not awkward when he's putting. We'll put it that way. Do you guys golf? And are you guys big golfers?
Yeah, kind of. I
not
used to
bad.
be. I want to play golf more again.
You used to be a scratch golfer.
No, I used to be a 3.
Oh, 3. Sorry. I played 50 times this year, so I'm not exactly that good, but I play a lot.
Where do you play?
I just go all over the city. I don't have like a membership anywhere. I'm not that fancy.
I'm at
What's
the
your
Edmonton Country Club.
What's your favorite place to play?
In terms of the public courses, probably the Quarry or the Ranch. Those two kind of stand out above the rest. Where do you play when you come to town?
Well, when I was living there, I played at Blackhawk, which I really liked. I had been a member at a bunch of places throughout my life in Edmonton, and I love the golf there. But in terms of public, I agree. I think the Quarry's so nice. That layout's awesome, but it was so far away from me. It was just tough to get to. But I do love I love the Quarry.
All right. Last one hockey question for you. Potentially 11 games without McDavid. Give me your prediction. Oilers record in these 11. I think, AB, do you have the schedule too from Gregor? There we go. Give me your prediction for 11 games here without Connor McDavid. There's some tough ones. Vegas, Vancouver are going to be really tough. You get the road trip through Toronto, Montreal, Ottawa.
I'm going to go. How many of these are? It's 11 games, did you say?
Yeah, 11.
So I bet you they go 7-4.
Oh, let's
Yeah.
go.
Hey, we will be thrilled with 7-4 as our boy
I want
McMullen
to ask
said.
2 golf questions though now.
We've
Yeah.
hit with 8 last ones.
But it's golf, so I feel
Okay,
like
fine.
this
It
is
doesn't count.
it
Ask him a
doesn't
golf
count. Favorite course to play in the Kelowna area and most difficult course to play in the Kelowna area.
Well, if Predator Ridge counts as the Kelowna area, I love Predator Ridge. But in the city of Kelowna,
The ridge over the links, right?
I like the Ridge
yes,
one. Yeah.
yes. The Ridge is the one in the mountains, right? Kind of.
Yeah.
I love that course. That course is unbelievable.
Yeah.
In Kelowna, there's so many nice ones, but I would say the Bear and Quail. So I think it's called the Okanagan now.
Yeah.
But the Bear and Quail is great. And it's crazy what you get for like your bang for your buck. There's 2 courses there. They're in the woods, and then they kind of turn into link style.
Yeah.
Kelowna has got great courses for like public courses that are just amazing.
What do you think of the Rise?
Oh, I love the
I haven't
Rise.
played it. I haven't played it yet, but I heard mixed reviews. What did you hear about it?
It's beautiful viewpoint. It's it's interesting. It's
Is it
interesting.
gimmicky?
What's that? There's like a 330-yard par 5 that is like this. Oh,
So you can't. It's super.
there's some weirdness to it, but like beautiful viewpoints. That's what I was wondering what you thought of it. Anyways, all good.
I struggle with tee shots that I can't see, like blind tee shots. If I don't know where I'm hitting, I'm horrendous.
Oh well, you won't like the Rise.
And I have to play in perfect conditions. If there's any type of wind, I'm done too. So
I'm with you.
yeah.
Princess golfers.
I hit the ball extremely high, so if there is like 1 kilometer of wind, I'm fucked.
You do hit it very high.
Yeah, I just mentally I'm just weak when it comes to any
I'm
condition.
with you, man. Golf is just gets you in a mind pretzel.
Yeah,
All right. Yeah, we do have a game day, so we got to move on, Tyler. I appreciate it. I honestly enjoyed the golf talk a lot too.
Of course.
Yeah, it's great. We'll talk to you again next week. Thanks, man.
Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
What's up, Nation citizens? If you like that video, then you need to be subscribed to the Oilers Nation YouTube. Podcasts, live shows, exclusive interviews, and analysis. Everything you need from your favorite voices at Oilers Nation. And you don't want to miss any of it, so hammer that subscribe button.